Hey y'all, welcome back. Today we are out on the four-wheeler. Fancy and I and you and I are going fencing. So we are about a week behind schedule on getting the cows out to fall pasture, which always happens because the fall pasture that we're going into, it depends. Sometimes we rotate them and sometimes we go into this pasture for summer pasture and sometimes it's in the fall. But we are going into it this year in the fall, and it has some extremely steep terrain. Canyons and trees and cliffs and all places that you can't drive your fence and wagons. So I'm going to do the easy side of it today with the four-wheeler and probably a little bit of hiking. And I've got some supplies on the four-wheeler here, but I didn't bring any posts. I'm not setting any posts right now with my arm or anything like that. I just spliced the fence here, so I stopped. I'm gonna have to pick up all my gear here and reload up. I guess I could show you what I got. So there's my camera stand, because I was splicing the fence for YouTube. And then I've got my stretchers, and we need to put them on the four-wheeler. I've got all my splicing wire here. I didn't even bring a whole roll of wire. I've got my lunch and my staples, my water jug, my fancy girl, gloves, my pliers are in my back pocket. I didn't bring a chainsaw. I'm just not up to that right now. We nearly always have one or two trees fall on the fence during the winter months in this pasture. It's just how it is. So if I need a post or I need a tree removed, I will mark it in my brain where it is so that somebody can come and do that individual section. Because it is a fairly good sized pasture for this area, and it'll probably take me all day to go all the way around it, just staples, splicing, fence ties, stretching, all those things. So I thought I would bring you along. Hopefully it doesn't turn into too long of a video because it is going to be a long day, but we have some shade, thanks goodness, and some breeze, so won't be too bad. Try again. Ah! Where'd you break at, huh? Which direction? Fall down the hill. Just a little hill, huh, puppy? You think I could keep my footing? Slick little hill. Ow. We're not going to look too close to that direction. We're just not going to look. It's still standing. It's still standing. Okay. Well, we're stopping in the shade for a minute because it's about 90 degrees. And we've made it about a mile and a half of fence. And I've already used most of my wire. And probably put in 15 staples and got off to tie up a lot of steel posts. So it's going to take more work than I had anticipated out here, which is kind of where it drives me crazy because I really do love to fence. I love to make things look really good, and this is not make the fence look really good country. It just isn't. It's one of the harshest realities that I had to learn when I moved here was that I was going to have to let my standards give quite a bit because you can't hardly put a post in the ground here. Like, you can bend a steel post pounding it into the ground. So like, you have patches of dirt, then you have rock shelves, and the fence just continues on in the rock shelf, and the steel post might be in the ground like that far because that's all the further that it could go. So like, you might move over a foot and that screws up your post spacing, and like, it just is a lot of work to put a post in the ground around here. So the fence looks like it's a lot of work to put a fence in. Like, it's not a pretty fence by any means at all. So we kind of just patch it together. And then the other thing that I don't know if I mentioned in this video or another video, but we had some pretty major fires roll through here. In the 80s, there was a really large one. I wasn't living here then, of course. But most of this would have been heavily treed. And I'm driving around out here, and this, you know, it's just kind of spotty treed. It would have been very heavily treed at that time, but it burned through here, and it burned through all the fences. So that's why a lot of the fence posts are steel, because we do have a fairly good fire here every so often. It just gets, you can't fight fire in this kind of country, the canyons and the trees, very well. So it's widespread when it does burn. And a lot of the wire, I would say like 75% of the wire I've seen today has been burned. And that makes it really brittle. So it breaks easily, and it's hard to patch, and it makes it interesting. But I'm parked in the shade because my four-wheeler overheats, and I am not going to be one of those people that starts a fire messing around. So I get to take a break in the shade every so often while I wait for the four-wheeler to cool off. And think about the things that I left at the house. Like, I should have brought more wire. And I forgot to bring my snake gun, which is a little concerning. I don't know why I would forget to bring that, because I knew I was going to be hiking. And yeah. Fancy and I are going to take a little nap while the four-wheeler cools off, and then we'll be back at it. It's going to take us all day to do this pasture. See you soon. I'm doing a lot of wire and twisting. You can see here that it just got twisted together. A lot of things cause this. Everything from heavy winds to snow to deer just catching their feet in it when they jump over. So I just get off and untwist it. Probably work. There we go. Very loose goose fence. I see it up there, it's broke, so that's probably why. Not fancy. So here we are at one of the bare edges of the fence here. A lot of these canyons are heavily wooded on the other side of this pasture. This side burned, like I said, so you can actually see the canyon. Down there, I'm not going to hike clear down to the bottom because the fence actually ends. It doesn't go all the way across the canyon down there because the cows actually can't cross the canyon down there. It kind of falls off a cliff. So I see I have a couple of staples to put in and a wire tie. So I'll hike down about halfway there. It doesn't look steep in the camera, but it's pretty steep. Not too bad, but it feels like a haul when you come back up it. So I'll take those down there and then peek over the hill and make sure that there isn't a tree on it down there, and we will continue on. So now I'm down there at the bottom. This fancy girl. And that right there is actually the last post. So the fence doesn't go down any further than that. And then it doesn't come up the other side. There's no fence over there. Because they actually can't cross this canyon anywhere. If and they wanted to. So I'm going to untwist this wire here and head back up. And that is another reason why the fence is not very tight up higher. Because it's not anchored to anything right there. It's just, that's just the end of the fence. So there isn't anything to stretch against. At one point there was probably a big wooden corner post. Somebody ambitious probably put in a corner post there, but there isn't one anymore. It burned off, so there isn't anything to stretch against. So there's no reason to get too ambitious on stretching the fence because it wouldn't get tight. It would just pull through. This country is hard, but the trees are worth it for the shade. Got another 200 yards up to the four-wheeler. It doesn't look that steep in the camera, but I am not the athlete that I used to be a couple of months ago. I don't know. It's interesting what the lightning did to my body because my lungs are a lot weaker than they used to be. And I lost a lot of muscle. It's going to take so long to get back to who I was. This is good for me. I got all day. I can take my time and give up anytime I want to. But I need the exercise. I need to get out and try. I could be in a physical therapy room lifting weights, or I could be hiking the canyons and pulling on the wire. So might as well be pulling on the wire. Here we go. 200 more yards. Are you panting? I'm panting. Up we go. There is a fence line right here, but it's a good example of a fence line that we don't use anymore since the fire. I don't know who was ambitious, when, or what happened, but a lot of this was fenced. Like you can see a fence line coming down and it disappears into the canyon there. I don't know if that was this bunch or before our bunch or who was that ambitious, because it's some pretty serious country right here. And a lot of it's rock. So I don't know. But that fence line there is just there from the past. I'm just kind of trailing alongside of it because it does turn into a box corner eventually, and that's where I want to start again. But I'm going to have to go around. Pretty cool rock formations though. And what I mean by it's not used anymore is it's all still our pastures. We do own each corner of this here. And at one point maybe it was two neighbors or it wasn't the same owner and that's why there's a fence. But right now, in our mind, if the cows are over here and they cross the broken fence to over here, they're not going to dive off of the... This is what it looks like if you look back at it from the other way. They're not going to dive off of that to go to the bottom of the canyon, so another 200 feet to graze. We're not getting a lot of fencing done. Currently we're eating a peanut butter and jelly sandwich because I actually lost the fence. It's around here somewhere. I'm not really sure where it pops out of the canyons. I'll let the four-wheeler cool off in the shade for a few minutes, but this entire, it's probably like, I don't know, it might be 4 miles, something like that. It doesn't have solid fence. It has a couple of places where the fence kind of weaves in and out, But somewhere along here it pops back out and starts being fenced again, and I can't remember which finger of canyons it is, so I'm having to go up every finger and try to find the fence. So, taking a very long time. But we needed a break anyway, didn't we, Fancy? That's why you pack your peanut butter and jelly to go. I found the fence. There it is. Down there. I was only 3 canyons off. I'm stopping to fix the fence right here, but I noticed that the fence goes right on through the tree. There, and through that tree and that tree up there. Not perfect, but better. Well, I think we're going to call that the end of the trails for today, because it just gets rougher from here. It gets way more wooded, treed. The forest gets thicker in that direction. So I'm not going to attack that today because my arm is getting really tired, and so am I. So I will see you guys in the next video. Thanks for hanging out. Please like, subscribe, comment, share, all of the above. All of the things help my channel to grow, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.